Welcome back to Talk Solent, the chat show where we share our local views of news catching our eye. I'm Shan Robbins, and with me now is PR consultant Karen Burney and the founder of Save Our Children's Centres, Catherine Ovenden. This piece of paper I'm going to wave at you, and you won't be able to see it at all, but it's online on Portsmouth The News. And this is a really interesting kind of news story about a compassionate thief. So essentially, it sounds bizarre, doesn't it? So on Hayling Island, apparently, someone snuck into a house, stole keys, stole a posh car that was on the drive and drove away. And somehow they then realised that actually in the car was an urn which probably contained ashes of presumably somebody related to the people in the car. So the thief drove back and left the urn with the ashes as well.
Took the car.
They still took the car, yeah. Yeah. And I'm not sure if they've been caught, because if their house had CCTV, then if they didn't get them going in, they might have got them going back. But yes.
Is that a conscience? Or
yeah, I think so. And yeah, personally, I think, yeah, you would want, it depends what we value the most, but it'd be great to get that back, because often where people find things have been stolen, it's not usually the monetary things, is it? It's the things sentimental and totally irreplaceable.
Yes. Well, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess they shouldn't have stolen it in the car in the first place. It's not their car, is it?
No.
One assumes. Assuming that they weren't taking it back and someone already got it. But for the report that we've got at the moment is that they were. It was an Audi.
Yeah. They maybe shouldn't have taken the car in the first place.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So we're going to talk about the Save Our Children's Centres. So you were on recently and talking about that, and can you explain briefly what is happening with them?
Hampshire County Council want to cut from 54 local centres down to 11, what we kind of call them super hubs. Like there'd be 11 district centres where they will run all the services for families with children under 5 out of those hubs. But we're fighting to keep the local centres open because we think it's about relationships between staff and local people in the community, and we don't want to lose that. We think once you've gone to a district hub, you'll lose all of those relationships and the trust. I mean, it takes years to build up trust between professional staff and families, and that will just be wiped out, it'll be gone, and then you can't get it back. So
we haven't got a chance here on this chat show to find the view of the council as to why they believe it's important to cut the services.
Money, that's the reason.
Yeah,
but save money.
They're saving money, but they still have to put money somewhere else, and so that's a hard decision for them that we don't know the background to as to why they're doing that. But you did a march, was it on Tuesday in Basingstoke?
Yeah, we did.
How did that go?
Really well. It was really well supported with lots of local people in Basingstoke. They're going from 11 centres in Basingstoke down to 1. So they're really passionate about saving them, and we all got together and had a shout, and it's awareness raising because the consultation, there's 2 weeks left for families in Hampshire to have their say about whether they want to save them or not, so we want people to take part. So
if people wanted to get involved in that consultation, what would they need to do?
It's on the Hampshire County Council website under the consultations page. I'm always tweeting links to it. To try and get people to take part. So, and you know, whatever your view is, if you want to save them or you don't want to save them, but we just want people like taking part in the consultation. So, Hampshire County Council then know what people in Hampshire actually want to happen.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? Did you ever need the children? Not need, but were you able to take advantage of the children's centres, which were called Sure Start at one time?
I don't think I knew about them when I had my first baby a long time ago. But also I was talking to Catherine earlier because I didn't really know what Sure Start did. I've heard of Sure Start and I get it confused with various charities and things, but as you say, I think everyone needs to be given the information when they have a baby.
Yeah.
Or maybe as a matter of routine, and then you know there's somewhere
what
you
is
can
available.
ring,
yes.
So
and what help you can get, because I know you've said, but obviously our viewers might not know that you've struggled when you were initially a parent.
Yes, when I was a parent, I didn't really know what to do with
no one does.
Here it is.
The baby. We called it the baby for 5 weeks.
Did you? Did it not even have a name?
Well, he obviously had a name.
Oh yeah, but you call it. Well, funny enough, years ago, I worked down at Eurotunnel, which is where you cross from, you can cross from the UK to France, and I was on duty when the people came in their car onto this overbridge where you're just about to load onto the trains, and they had missed the toilet that had been in the parking area, and so I don't know quite how that happened, how they did manage to miss it, because they had been told previously there was one. Anyway, so the mother was saying, what am I going to do? I need to change the baby. And at that time, I don't think they had changing facilities on the train. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry, but are you able to do it on your lap? Because I know loads of mothers who successfully do a quick change on the lap or the back seat or whatever. Yeah. And she was really upset and saying, no, I can't possibly. Can't. And then I said, oh, give it to me. And I put my hands up and went, give it to me. And she went ballistic. Eat! Oh. the baby.
Yeah. I had the bag and everything. I used to take lots of things with me in the end, so I got very used to it, changing them on the back seat or in the boot.
In the boot.
You had to have it's a whole operation. You'd have to have it flat, and my son was a one, so it was hard to handle, but you'd have to have the whole military operation to be able to do it.
Yeah. But I think there are some people who are able to kind of take it in a stride, all that wiggling and crawling and pulling them back and making them do it. And I think now it's probably a lot easier. I'd say easier, it's probably not, but it's not as bad when my little brother was young and I used to try and stick his nappy on him, and it would be like a toweling and a big pin, and I would, poor thing, stab him every now and then because he was wriggling. But I know, there's an art, isn't it? You have to have your finger down, hold the nappy. Right. It's got 3 layers, it's really hard, and you're trying to get it through. It's not easy. So these pamper things, they're great.
Well, and the fabric nappies now have like Velcro covers and things.
Have they?
If you want fabric nappies, you don't have to have a massive jabby pin anymore.
Yeah.
I used the cotton, the wash ones, and then a wrapper thing. So I got quite good at that in the end.
Oh yes, the linery thing.
Yes, but my daughter's. The thing is, with the second one, it's much easier.
Yeah.
So my daughter.
Oh, I suppose because you have a. Well, you said it because I was going to say you know what you're doing. However, often people's second child isn't anywhere near the same temperament. No. So like if you've had I don't know what to call it, like a difficult baby to start with, and then you get an easy baby. You've had an easy baby, and then you get and then they're not difficult. Obviously, they're just different characters, aren't they? But
and how you are with them influence as well. Like I was so stressed with my first baby because I didn't know what I was doing. She was quite like, because I was.
She's picking up on your files.
With my second one, he was a bit more laid back, and then they're a bit more laid back, I think. Well, mine were that way around.
Yeah.
They feed off you.
It's just, can I just mention on the Sure Start services, you're saying that they're going from lots of small ones down to some major ones in a different place?
Yeah, so there won't be a local. So where I lived, I could walk to my local centre, and I didn't have a car when my children were small, so that was really important for me to be able to walk there.
So the other thing that will be lost is word of mouth. Yeah, so people telling people.
Yes, and also I think the local thing of meeting other young mums or dads in your area and realising you're not alone. All those, and if people are having to travel to get somewhere, will those be used either?
Other than by the people won't go.
They'll have obviously their local catchment, won't they? But possibly not from further out. If it takes you a long time to get there with a couple of bus changes, and to afford to do that for any young parents, a lot of them.
And the logistics of taking, I would have had to take a baby and a 1.5-year-old on a bus for 2 hours if it was how it is going to be. Like, you can't do that. You can't fit that between feeds and naps and trying to do everything at home, and they don't want to sit on a bus for 2 hours.
No. Are you able to share about why you're so passionate about it yourself?
Yeah, I had really bad postnatal depression and was suicidally depressed, and my local Sure Start Centre, the manager there, Sue, who'd known me for over a year, where I've been going with my eldest, when it all went wrong with my youngest, they knew me and they noticed I'd stopped going to groups, and they supported me, and I went on a course for postnatal depression and a confidence building course, and it didn't solve everything, and I was still poorly, but the support was amazing, and I fight for them forever.
And this is what you really want to be able to is not stop for other mothers in similar situation and fathers.
Yeah, and generations coming up, like people who are teenagers now or in their 20s who might have children one day, don't know they need the service yet, but it needs to be there for them, and if it goes, then where will they go? So
'Cause it's hard to know whether something else will replace it, won't it? Not the same as it is. But if there is that need, then the doctor's presumably going to find maybe more people going there, or
yeah, and then the NHS has got cutbacks, so mental health services have got cutbacks. So if you can't go there and get support early, then you get a massive problem. But then there are no hospital beds for, you know, mental health.
no.
So,
And you wouldn't want them to be in a bed, and you know, unless because if they're, it's so tricky, isn't it? Because they need help and assistance
yeah,
by
and
the
they've
right.
closed mother and baby units. Everything's being closed down. So I don't know where people are supposed to go.
What they would do next.
Because most people don't have private medical insurance. That's not.
No.
No.
So, briefly though, petitions online, have you said that you had applied to different petitions, that you'd had signatures? So these are government petitions where you can add your name to say, I think that needs discussing in Parliament, and if there's 100,000 signatures, it will actually be discussed in Parliament?
Yeah, that's what it says on the government website, that if a petition gets over 100,000, then they will consider it for debate. So I've signed lots of petitions, and I think 4 of them have got over 100,000 signatures in the UK, and then the government respond to that, and every single one of them, it has said they're not going to debate it. And so I just wonder, have they debated any? Like, has there been a successful petition?
I think there actually has. I can't remember it to tell people, but I'm sure that there was one recently, and it was quite a surprise that they really are debated. But that's weird that they would say we will debate it and then say not
And
debate
they're
it.
not. And there's always a reason, like there's a white paper somewhere, or there's some reason, but I don't know.
But it's very frustrating when everyone's gone to that effort. Have
Yeah.
you?
I signed some petitions sometimes, yes. But there was one, that, and as I say, I can't remember which it was that was debated. But I've come up with an idea for an app.
Okay, for an app, yes.
Yeah, but which obviously haven't done anything about. But I think somehow we need to remember which petitions we've signed, because do you remember?
Well, I suppose if
And
you've
they
signed a
come
lot,
through,
and then they can.
Yes, I sign them every now and again, but I think now, have I already signed this one?
Oh, I
Electronically.
see.
I don't
But
know
I'm
if
sure it
tells
won't let you
Yeah, I
do it
think
because you have to fill in all your details.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, we'll be sharing more local views on the news, and if you have news that we should be talking about, then do contact us on our email, which is talk@thatsolent.com. I'll give you that again, talk@thatsolent.com, or send us a tweet using #TalkSolent. Welcome back to Talk Solent. I'm Shan Robbins. With us here sharing their views is Karen Burney from Liss and also Catherine Ovenden from Totten. Now, we are going to talk about the Queen's Awards because it's her birthday. And the Queen's Awards, this is a Telegraph, I think. And in Hampshire, I'm not sure actually how many award winners there are in Hampshire, but the Queen's Award for Enterprise, one of them has certainly been won by a client of you.
Yes. There are, I think, there's quite a few in the south, which is fantastic, and in Hampshire, and there are Queen's Awards for different things. So my client, Morgan Innovation and Technology, they're called. They're an invention business, and they have invented their own products, and they've made them and brought them to market, and they export, I think, 90% of what they make. And they've won a Queen's Award for Enterprise in international trade.
Yes, it's the Queen's Award for Enterprise, and this is in international trade.
Correct me.
Yeah, sorry. I know, because I went and had a little chat with them.
We're thrilled because they're on the business page of the.
So they're actually in there as well, are they? So it's not
Telegraph
just this lady and her
No,
and
they're
her
in
dog
that
food.
bit, and then there's the Portsmouth News has covered it.
That's brilliant.
And they've rung back today again because there was another angle in the press release. Because they're working with someone that won a Dyson award as well. They're making
What's a
new
Dyson?
product.
Because it sounds like a Hoover.
James Dyson. You mustn't say Hoover.
Oh.
James Dyson.
Vacuum.
The vacuum cleaner.
Yes, other brands are available. But then that must be the same as the Dyson, because now you associate Dyson with the Hoover, which was the original vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner. Well, they're working with a young man, I think James Roberts, who's invented, I think it's an incubator of some kind, and he won a Dyson award. So they are taking that product and they're going to develop it and bring it to market. And they're fantastic. and they've won a
You're
Queen's
bound to
Award.
say
No,
that,
they are
aren't
brilliant,
you?
absolutely brilliant. I like working for people I really believe in, and they're fantastic.
I think one of the interesting things, because I went and met them earlier and had a little chat with them, is that the company got started in the back room, in the bedroom, I think, of him and his wife started this business, and it's now got a £5 million turnover. It's an incredible British success, or it's a story, Hampshire success story, which is amazing. And one of the interesting things, actually, which I just found fascinating, was that they only do a 4-day week.
They do. It's
Just incredible, yes.
Yeah.
What would you like to do a 4-day week?
I'd like to do a 4-day week, yes. Yeah. I think it's brilliant, you know, that they can do that, and it's a lovely place to work, and they're all very relaxed.
But you've only popped in and seen that. We don't know that's true.
They all seem.
You know what happens the moment people leave? Let's get the whips out, and there they are.
They've got an office puppy, an office dog, haven't they? Which, when I first went there, the dog was roaming about. There was a meeting going on, and it was playing with bubble wrap. And then I think it came up and got the papers a bit wet this morning.
Is that to try and keep them calm, or is it just...
I think they just like having a dog.
Having a dog around. Because there are some very some forward-thinking companies that allow people to bring their pets to work, and it says it helps them relax. And they did some studies. I can't remember which news channel. I think it was on one of the, I can't remember which channel. But anyway, they did some studies where they had people given some tests without their pet with them, and then they were different tests, but they were allowed to bring the dogs in with them, and they performed much better because they were stroking their pet while they were thinking about
your
things.
blood pressure as well.
Yes.
Stroking animals, because they take them into hospitals as well.
Yes.
For, people who are poorly to have pets in hospitals for them to stroke. It's good for you.
It is good for you. The only reason I'm laughing is because I read an article, can't remember when, that said people who have pets or stroke their pets live longer. And I thought, well, why should I die sooner just because I haven't got a pet?
Yes,
so,
well, we've got three.
Yes, but let me tell you before you tell me about your pets. So I've got this stuffed dog that's it's not a real dog. Do not worry. It's not a real dog. It's a sewn-up dog. It was meant to be a draft exercise. And every now and then I stroke it. When I'm watching the TV, I think, right, I'm not going to die. I need to live a bit longer.
Does it come up to you when you come home from work? Does it come up and say, no. Sean, I love you?
No, it's the perfect pet because it doesn't need feeding, it doesn't need walking, it doesn't need looking after if I'm on holiday. You can just pick it up and live a bit longer. So anyway, sorry, you're three dogs.
We have, for our sins, we have 3 black Labradors. But it was a bit of a mistake because we had 2 old ones who were really well behaved, and then we got a younger one, and then we've lost the 2 old ones. And the younger one was on her own. She's now 8, and we thought we'd get another one to keep her company. And then we went to see these puppies, and my husband said, we've got to have 2 like we had before. And I said, no, I think we need 1. So we ended up with 2 more, plus the 1. So we've got 3. So, and the younger 2 are not as well behaved as the other ones. They're rather a handful.
Do they run off and play together?
They run off. Sometimes. Literally. No,
there you go. You have to feed them, rattle the tin.
Yes, I do, yes.
So, Catherine, you've got cats. Now, apparently they increase happiness.
Yeah, cats are amazing. I've got one cat, she's called Emmeline.
Oh, just one.
She's the Audrey Hepburn of cats. She's a princess. She struts around. She's lovely.
So does she come up to you or not, or she stays away? Or?
Yeah, no, we have a chat. I talk to my cat. I think the neighbours probably think I'm mad, but yeah.
Watch it when they saw me.
She meows at me and I have a little chat back to her, and she sleeps on my tummy often on the bed. And yeah, they're family members, aren't they, pets?
Yes. Yes,
I love my cat, and I've also got 3 leopard spotted geckos.
Wow.
Who aren't as cuddly, but very interesting.
Wow. So do they live in cages? Or are they out of the cages?
It's a vivarium, it's called, so it's like a wooden tank, I suppose you call it, with glass front. So they live in there. We can get them out and hold them.
What made you get those?
I was just really intrigued by them. I thought they were amazing. And I had friends who had exotic pets, and just sort of, I found them interesting, so I wanted
But the
some.
cat wasn't like, like cats like mice. It hasn't shown any interest in the gecko.
Oh, she goes up to the glass and looks in, but there's
with
a
a hungry little face.
There's a lock on there, so she can't get in, but she watches them, and they watch her, and they sort of look at each other. So it's fun, yeah.
Ooh, very interesting. Now I've been totally put off what I was actually going to talk about with the gecko-y things there. Now, the sad news, but we'll try and make it not too sad, and this is that Victoria Wood has died. This was in the Daily Express. It's in most of the papers. Now, here they say suddenly, but actually, but apparently it was 6 months and she'd been keeping it secret, and it was from cancer. But did you ever see any of Victoria Wood's work?
Yes, I love Victoria Wood. So my favourite sketch, or one of them that she did, or song, was the, I think it's called the Barry and Frida song or something like that, which is absolutely hilarious. And I was looking on YouTube yesterday, and she did a funny sketch where she's dressed up in lycra, and she's an exercise teacher, and she comes on and does a silly dance, and but it's so funny.
It's really funny.
Really funny.
What about yourself, Catherine?
Yeah, I thought she was brilliant. I really, really admire her. I think she was just herself. Like, she didn't try and change herself to fit with what everyone expected. She just went up there and did her thing, and she was so talented. I think, yeah.
Yes. One of the things I remember is where she had been talking about, I think it was dyeing her hair and washing her hair, and she'd wrapped a tea towel around her head, and then when she'd taken it off, she'd had kind of in green "Made in England" across it. It was something like that. It's not exactly that, but it was, you know, when you're just so funny. It's just a little normal tale of normal life where it's just something's gone wrong. So
that's the best kind of comedy for me, like observational comedy, just the normal things that happen every day that are really funny.
Yes.
And she sang about them, which is even better.
And her rhymes as well, very clever with words, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Yes, but also for her family as well, a great loss. Because no age at all, 62.
No, it's really young.
Which is, I mean, some of the others that have been popping off, they've all been a little bit older.
Yeah, but I think there's a big party going on, isn't there, up there? You know, she's gone to join Ronnie Corbett and all the people we lost, sadly, the band members.
Yeah. So they can have a little bit of, it'll be like the old days when they used to have like a true variety evening, so they can have a little bit of comedy first, then they can have some singing, and then back to some comedy. It'll be a grand old time.
The other thing that's lovely is, I mean, people have been laughing at things that she's done and said, and when Ronnie Corbett died, I think when people heard that he died, everyone smiled, because you just think of him and he was just...
Yes, I must admit, it was funny because he was the one that I was upset by, you know, more than others. But again, in fact, some colleagues and we were here and we were chatting, and they were remembering some of the sketches that he did, and you just can't help laughing, can you? Brilliant. Now there is good news hopefully good news for people to help them survive cancer, and this is in the... I'm so sorry because I can't remember which one it's in. Oh, is it the Times? So this is that a daily aspirin can increase surviving the risk of cancer. Now this is an interesting one about daily aspirin, because I think sometimes you get prescribed aspirin to thin the blood, and so it can't obviously suit everybody if they've already got thin blood and so forth. And if you get carried away and have too many aspirin, it can be really bad for you. So in interesting thing, would it be something that you would consider doing?
I wouldn't personally, but yeah, it might suit some people. But I think there's a different news story every week about things to do or not do, and what's good for you and what's not good for you. And I think it's actually quite confusing for people.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, and I did once interview somebody who had been diagnosed with a life-limiting illness, and their health regime had become just basically onerous, where every possible remedy that had been purported to be of use was kind of stashed up on their kitchen table. I'd never seen anything like it in my life.
Wouldn't you?
Yes, I guess that you would.
There's one thing I did hear, that watercress is really good for you.
Yes.
Really, really good for you. And I met a chap, if I could say, from a company called Steve's Leaves, that they grow watercress. But he basically is a scientist, and he said that he's spoken to so many scientists over the years that he stopped eating red meat.
Do you know, that's fascinating, because I don't know if I haven't met the scientist, but I certainly have spoken to Steve's Leaves, bizarrely, because they won an award for something to do with CPRE, I think. I can't remember.
No, they support the countryside.
Oh, is that what they do? Yes. So watercress. I went down and filmed this watercress farm at Alresford, somewhere like. Anyway, amazing. And the manager there, he basically started working there. I think I'm going to get entirely the facts wrong, which is not really very good for a journalist, but 15 I think it was about 15 years, but anyway, he started eating watercress when he joined the company and found out how good it was for you. And every morning he, liquidizes it up. So
Make good soup.
It's
Watercress
fantastic.
soup.
Yes.
Fantastic,
yeah, and it's but there's so many, aren't there? It's what you'd call the superfoods.
There are, yes.
So
Onions.
onions are great because they're affordable, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's the thing with other things. So coming up, we'll be talking about whether size does matter, and if you have news that we should be talking about, then do contact us. Hello, you're watching Talk Solent. I'm Shan Robbins, and with me on the sofa today are Karen Burney and Catherine Ovenden. So, according to this is Daily Express, size does matter, but I'm not sure whether it does or it doesn't matter. So we're going to have a little chat about that. And this is saying, from our favourite biscuits to legroom, sizes are being reduced, but we're being charged more for it. Have you noticed anything particular on any
Wagon wheels.
Yeah.
I remember wagon wheels being this big. Apparently that's because I was a child.
Yeah, that big. How were good though? They were about that big, weren't they?
They were big, but they're really not
Yes,
big
but they're
now.
really small now, are they?
And curly whirlies, they used to be big.
Yes, nice
They're
long, about a
tiny
ruler
now.
length, weren't they? Are they not that length now?
No, they're not.
No.
They're not very.
They were 30 centimetres long,
Yeah,
of course.
no, they're like
Yes.
this small.
And now that, well, that's a shame because the things, because they used to be 10p, and I don't know what they are now. Maybe they're 20p. But it's when if you're looking for a certain size biscuit or something to eat, you want it to be a certain size, don't you?
Yeah, and tins are smaller. Like when you used to get the Christmas tin of chocolates, that used to be sort of this
A
big.
bit.
Yeah.
But now the
Are they?
the tubs are really small now.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't. How do you get?
The only thing is, I saw something. I saw something in a paper, and it had the old tin, then the next year along, and then the next year, and then how small the next.
You could see it.
But then I did wonder whether it's to do with packaging. And then
They're
I
trying to
thought,
get
actually,
packaging
that
small.
might be all right. So if there's the same amount of chocolate.
Oh, so if you shake it, if you're thinking and the things go to the bottom, and they thought, okay, well, we'll just make a smaller tin.
But they're not tin anymore, are they? They're plastic. And that
Yeah,
annoys me as well.
yeah.
Tins are useful.
Yes.
Plastic's
You can fit
annoying.
sponge cakes into. But
Yes,
you
they're
can't
so
fit
good,
the
aren't they?
sponge
But there
in
are
the
certain
plastic
tins that still stayed the same, like, I can't think, sometimes Quality Street tins seem to be the same.
I think they're smaller.
No,
Yes,
Are
yeah,
they
the
maybe-
blue one.
don't
The blue
know.
one.
I'm not sure.
And apparently, I'm told that Yorkies bars are smaller now.
Oh, they're not, are they?
Are you a Yorkie bar eater?
Well, no, I buy them for my husband, though.
Oh, well,
haven't
maybe you shouldn't need
noticed.
to eat so much anyway.
No, that's
Don't tell him I said that. But what annoys me is when you see the multi-pack and they say, hey, look, wonderful price for this multi-pack of things. Now, I'm a great Cadbury's or other brands available. That's the one I tend to eat chocolate. And I see what I like. And then they do a multi-pack for a good price. And actually, when you open the multi-pack, they're not the items. They're all smaller, like they're kiddie meals. What's that?
Yeah, and it matters. When I was pregnant, I had a real craving for a Mars bar, and I wanted the full-size Mars bar, and my husband came back with a fun-size Mars bar, like a pack of them, because it was Halloween. It's not the same. I want a big one.
No, for some reason they don't taste the same, do they? But interesting, my dad used to have Mars bars, but he used to religiously slice it all up into sort of
very nice.
bite-sized pieces and then kind of chew each one really enjoying it rather than just shoving it in and kind of chomping along.
Good idea.
Yes,
Good
well, I
idea.
don't know because I don't like that. I tried them and it wasn't the same. It was like the mini ones compared to proper chomp.
Yeah.
It's good to have something and then enjoy it, isn't it? And eat it slowly and enjoy it. That's what
Yes.
that's my latest thing.
Mindful
health
eating.
thing.
Yes, well, they did say there was something out, like you say, there's something every week, but there was something the other week, and it basically said if you're mindful about what you're eating and take your time over it, then you're likely to eat less than if you
It's
just
true,
sit
yeah.
and don't think about what you're doing. 'Cause you just think, oh, it's dinner. Rush.
But also with sweets and biscuits and chocolate, which I love, I'm trying to have less, but I'm just enjoying it more. So I'm allowing myself to enjoy it
Which is
rather
nice.
than eating a lot and feeling awful about it. So
And this weekend on Saturday, it's the London Marathon, so maybe loads of runners, I'm sure, going up from Hampshire to that. But also in Southampton, it's the Southampton Half Marathon. And in the mornings as well, they do a park run, which last week apparently was the biggest park run ever for ages and ages. But you run, don't you?
Yeah, not running at the moment, but I was in Tottenham Running Club, and I went from not being able to run at all. I did a 10-kilometre race at Stubbington, very slowly, but I did it. So that was, yeah, a good achievement.
Yeah, so couch to 10K. How long did that take you?
I started in April and I did the 10K in January, so I'm really slow.
And did you feel better?
Yeah, I love it. I love it, and I really miss it. And I'm supposed to be starting back tonight, actually, at a beginners group. So yeah, try and get back into it again.
It's quite inspirational, and I do apologise because I told people the wrong thing for parkrun. Parkrun is 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, not Saturday. They'll all be there when they mixed up with that half a marathon as well, so it'd be a nightmare. But you are going. How difficult that very first bit when you decided to do something from doing nothing? How did you manage that?
Well, they did interval training, so we'd do a minute of jogging and then a minute of walking, that sort of thing. And the first couple of weeks, I thought, I hate this. I actually hate it. I'm not going back. And then, so I don't know, it gets you, and you feel good. And then I ran my first mile, and it felt amazing to be able to run a mile. Like, really felt good. And then, yeah, it hooked me in. Really
and you're going to go back, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, I've had a break from it, but now it's time to go back.
I must admit, I'm not sure what I'm going to do because I need to do something, but whenever I've ended up running, because running is not my thing at all. I like team games where or you do something, or a class where you started so you have to finish, but when you kind of have to go and motivate yourself, swimming tends to be the usual thing that I can motivate myself on, but running, as you say, does work.
I couldn't do it on my own. I could only do it because I joined a club and they were you know, running with other people. It's better.
Yeah, but I always get inspired because I always think, supposing you have to run for a bus and then you haven't got enough breath to run for a bus. I had to run for a train once, and then I always had to lie down. I was using an inhaler, gasping for breath, thinking, no, you need to get fit.
I'm quite pleased because when I have to run somewhere, I can generally I can run to the village or halfway to the village, or I can run to a train or a bus or whatever. So I think, oh, that's not too bad then.
And I'm certainly fine, yes, running to the cake shop. Have no problem with that.
No problem at all.
So now we are going to talk about the X Factor, because the X Factor, or not necessarily the X Factor, but the X Factor were in Southampton on Tuesday and Portsmouth on Thursday, for people that want to have an opportunity to have a record made or get seen somehow and everything. But I shall start with you, Catherine, because you've sung in a choir, is that right?
Yeah, I joined Salisbury Community Choir, so there's non-auditioning, so anyone can join in, which was brilliant. And yeah, it was a really good experience, and we sang in Guildford Cathedral for a fundraiser. Yeah, brilliant experience, I really enjoyed it.
Who were you singing for? The fundraising, do you remember?
It was, I'm going to have a blank now. I've forgotten the little girl's name.
It'll come back.
Yeah, a little girl who has a brain tumour, and it was raising money for her family. Will Todd is her dad, who's a composer, and he's written music, and we sang that. And it was joining together choirs, so it was Salisbury Community Choir, and then some professional choirs and some semi-professional choirs, and everyone learnt their parts.
Wow.
And we all sang together.
Sounds amazing.
It really was brilliant experience.
What do you think, would you say, is the best thing about singing?
I think it's a chance to have your voice, like to just enjoy doing something. I just loved going, and you can forget about everything else that's going on and just sing. I love singing. I sing in the car all the time. I get lost all the time because I'm too busy singing and I don't take my exit.
But you wouldn't audition for something like X Factor, say?
No.
I guess if you're happy, you don't want to start your career and get that big break or whatever it is that, that some people want.
It's more for fun. I sing for fun because I like it. It makes me happy. But
yes, and Karen, you also enjoy singing?
Yes, I love singing. Yes, I've put my foot in it a little bit yesterday because I mentioned singing at a local business event, and I I think I've volunteered to sing Happy Birthday to the Queen
Happy birthday to the Queen.
at the beacon lighting. But I think
wow.
it's just a case of
That's brilliant tonight.
being on the microphone
That's fantastic.
and saying, come on everybody, 1, 2, 3. And
then you're all going to sing
yes,
happy birthday?
I think so, yeah.
You're not going to try and do a happy birthday like, who's that?
Marilyn Monroe.
Monroe.
That's what my husband keeps saying. He keeps singing in the kitchen. He was saying this morning, happy birthday. I said, no, it won't be like
It's
that.
not going to be like that. You're hoping everyone else is going to drown you out, are you?
Oh, yes, yeah.
But that's brilliant. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
I think
that's going to be down at Liss.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yeah, no,
but
so-
that'll all be over. That'll all be
it'll
over.
in 2 seconds, won't it? But on a serious note, what would you sing on the line where it says "Happy Birthday, dear"? So, will
see,
it
you
be
could-
"Happy
Busy.
Birthday, dear"? Right. Well,
Elizabeth.
dear Your Majesty, or will it be "Happy Birthday, Your Majesty"? Happy birthday. So I've got to
Yes, it's a really
decide.
tricky thing.
And I
Gosh,
think I've got
isn't
to
there some
tell everybody.
protocol?
Well, there may be.
I think you need to find out because I'd
there
want to go
may
Dear
be.
Queenie, which isn't really
Dear
going to go down well.
Queen. There'll be people saying Queen.
No, because some say
won't there?
the Queen or Dear
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty or Elizabeth.
I think the automatic
Betty.
thing is to say dear. Happy birthday,
Dear
dear.
Liz.
Yeah,
They'll
dear.
say, won't they?
Dear
Liz is her name.
Liz. Yeah, but that's her
Who would
name.
sing Liz? I
No,
would
you
say
can't
Your
say
Majesty.
Your Majesty. I think Your Majesty. I think you need to look on the protocol.
There might be some protocol for
Yes.
the happy birthday.
Definitely. Oh, how exciting. Oh, you're going to have to let us know how that goes. Oh, wow. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. My very many thanks to today's guests, Karen Burney and Catherine Ovenden. And Talk Solent returns tomorrow at the same time.